The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is the Players Lounge, broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Barry Church, Danny McCray, Heckma Harrison, and Newey Scruggs.
Hello and welcome to the Players Lounge, sponsored by Tostitos, the official chip and dip of the Dallas Cowboys. You're now rocking with the best. I'm Heckma Harrison. He's Danny McCray. That's Newey Scruggs.
Who is that?
Newey Scruggs. That's Newey Scruggs. I knew he back in the building.
Before you start the show, we got to start up.
Now we ready to roll.
We can build Voltron now, man. I tell you what, I used to say the only 42 I acknowledge is Barry Church.
It's still that way. It's still that way.
Dog, I'm going to have to change that, BC. I'm going to have to change that, BC. I got, dog, come back.
Oh, we good. All right. After all the trouble we had.
He gonna get up and move everything after all of that. Barry, I swear to God. But this is the Players Lounge, man. And, man, we got so much to talk about, but y'all know me. If I'm hosting, I want to find out, man, how's your weekend? There's a lot of things going on. D-Mac, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah, listen, I'm good for the most part. You know what I'm saying? We had a nice little halftime performance with NFL flag. The 8U teams got to play during halftime of the first preseason game, so everything was good, right? Until I walked in here, okay? And if anybody who's watching, if you was watching last week, okay, the angle is a little different because Barry Church stole my spot, okay? And I'm not going to forget this.
Put some context on that?
Not going to forget. You stole my spot.
Some context on that?
Stole my spot.
That's crazy.
Okay, Newey, how about you, brother? How are you?
Brother, I'm good. Moved the daughter into her dorm room, so yeah, man, it was good. It was good. Sitting up in the church because they wanted to pray over the soccer teams. Was in church, and I ain't gonna lie, man, I started crying. Started crying, man. You dropping your first child off to school, and you know, just like, wow, here you are. Because you never forget. Obviously, all three of you had a child, so you never forget the first one and just everything there. And how did I get from there to here?
Don't start crying on us.
No, I ain't gonna cry. But that's just where I was. But that's just where I was. It's like, you know, wow.
Yeah,
so that was my weekend, and 109 degrees driving from Tyler back to town. It was getting burnt up on the steering wheel. It was hot, but all good, man. All good. So.
Good deal. I love to hear it, man. BC, what about you, man? How's your weekend? How's everything?
Everything's amazing, man. Family doing good. Kids start school next, tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. So
Tomorrow, go! Get out, go!
Yeah, so that
Have fun,
golf swing going.
Yeah.
It's gonna get a little bit better.
The golf swing's gonna get better. What's your window? You got a 4 or 5 hour window?
Oh yeah,
now?
it's easy. So drop off 7:30. I don't gotta do nothing again until about 1-ish. So
yeah, 1-ish. Please make sure you pencil us in.
I'll be here.
You're like, what time is it?
Wednesday.
So that's how you know.
Wednesday.
Yeah, that's how you know what's going on with Barry Church. I'm gonna tell y'all, for me, you know, I told y'all, man, my son broke his hip training about a month ago. Went to the doctor today. That thing is all healed up.
Ready
to go, boy. So we put the train back on the tracks. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Sophomore playing varsity, man. We're looking forward to it. But hey, we got to talk about some Cowboy football. The Dallas Cowboys played on Saturday at 4 p.m. at AT&T Stadium, and man, there are a lot of good things that came out of that preseason game. But one of the big things that everybody in Cowboy Nation is talking about is number 42, Deuce Vaughn. And Newey, tell me what you saw, man. Anything good came out of that, especially the running back position that we've been talking about, I mean, ad nauseum.
I think what we saw in camp translated to the field. We always talk about the all Oxnard.
Mm-hmm.
This gentleman is not all Oxnard. And in so many ways, this kid performed like he did at Kansas State. You know, you had question marks, and then you see him play. Oh, okay, he's fine. So he's going to make the football team. And it was just kind of interesting being in the media tent, and people, well, you know, you can't have Turpin, and you can't have Deuce Vaughn. I'm like, why not? And just even reading Calvin Watkins, like, well, you know, what do you do? Is Turpin in trouble? You said Turpin on a bubble. How's a Pro Bowl returner on a bubble? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They're going to keep both, which is also why McCarthy wanted to see Turpin in a receiver role. Let me see what else you can do. So to me, when you start talking about, you know, who's the dude should be wearing for his job, somebody like Simi Fehoko, who's not a special teams guy. Yeah. So if you ask yourself, go into a football season, who's going to help me on Sundays? Who's giving you more plays? Turpin, Simi Fehoko. To me, it's pretty simple, right? It's Turpin. And to go back to Deuce Vaughn's going to be on this football team. They like it. Head coach likes him. The owner likes him. He's going to sell some jerseys. He might sell more 42 jerseys.
Oh, no. Say it ain't so.
Say it ain't so.
Safeties, running backs, you know what I mean?
Say it ain't so.
You know. And
They coming out of that 4-2. I mean, you can't 4-2 at the running back spot.
Where's Sproles wore?
43.
Okay,
43.
okay.
But that looks clean.
K-State, yeah. What's wrong with that?
We'll see. But coming from that game, of course, we're talking about Deuce Vaughn, and I think he showed a lot of us that he belongs in this league. He belongs. There's still question marks on him out there as far as I'm concerned.
What are those?
Because when we look at it, all right, when we look at what he was doing, yes, does he have great vision? Of course, he can hit the hole, and he's extremely elusive back there. So he had some home run potential. But to me, when I look at it, I mean, it was one preseason game, and he was going against, if we're being honest, he was going against guys that just came out of college just like he did. He wasn't going against the first team, Jacksonville defense out there. He was going against 3s and 4s out there, and he looked impressive. So to me, I just need a bigger sample size. Maybe next game he goes out there and he plays in the first quarter. He plays in earlier in that first half to see what he can do against a little bit better competition. But for the competition that he went out there against, he played well. He was elusive. He made plays out there, and like Newey said, he's gonna make this team. To me, I'm with Calvin Watkins a little bit, or Clarence Hill a little bit when it comes down to those Watkins, where it's Turpin or Deuce Vaughn. Because to me, that's 2 roster spots taken up by almost the same individual, gadget type guy. I mean, so it's up in the air.
I'm gonna go against you a little bit just because the Simi Fehoko thing is really giving Turpin a spot to me. Last week, I'm sitting there and I'm saying, you know what? If Simi Fehoko go out there and he plays, he didn't. But if he went out there and he showed that he could do something in the game, then I think Turpin will be in trouble. One, because I don't think that Turpin and Deuce are the same. I don't think you can use them the same anymore after I watched them. Deuce is a running back.
Oh, yeah.
All right, he's going to be in the backfield, and it's going to be a few gadgets, but they can line him up and run the read zone. They can run the read option. They can do all that stuff with Deuce. His ability to be elusive. I said this to you on Saturday night. I said, listen, what they thought Clyde Edwards-Helaire was supposed to be when he got into the league, being able to do what he did in college, is what I saw in the one preseason game, albeit what I saw from Deuce Vaughn when he played in that game.
So you see him make those strides towards RB2, not RB3, and it doesn't concern you at all as far as blocking third down.
No. I didn't say RB2.
Right.
I didn't say RB2.
Okay, I was about to say,
I didn't say that.
I'm just pushing the envelope a little bit. I'm warning you.
I said what I saw from him. So when I watched, and this is LSU thing, when I saw Clyde Edwards-Helaire play in college, what I expected to see him do when he got to Kansas City was what I saw Deuce Vaughn do. Be elusive, still run with some power, so it's still not, you can't, like we saw him get picked up at practice. You're not going to see him get picked up like that in the game because you got to try to tackle the guy, right? And when you add that element in of like, okay, now we're going live, you can see that he has a little bit more elusivity than what you saw out there at practice, and I think that is going to bode well for him. Now, Simi, I don't know what Simi got, but yeah.
But if he's not RB2, all right, if he's not solidified as that running back 2,
He's not.
So is he just going to be a gadget guy?
He'd be RB3.
He'd be RB3.
So how many touches is RB3 getting?
I think he get 8.
And they gonna put RB3 in there for 8 touches?
If they say we're gonna run the ball as much as McCarthy said he's gonna run the ball, and depending on how it starts with our offensive line, I think we'll be running the ball a lot.
So putting in context, the game on Saturday, there were 22 rushes. Okay, so let's just say in a normal game, if you have 22 touches, the majority of those are going to be taken by Tony Pollard.
He getting 17, 18.
He is 17, 18. Then you're distributing those in between Deuce and Ronald Jones, or Rico Dowdle, or whoever else.
Hold on. Listen, I don't think that's fair.
Okay.
But just like Tony Pollard and Zeke, if you got a guy that's getting in the game, doing what Deuce did, if he plays against, and he comes out in week 1, and he plays like he played on Saturday, all right? You're going to tell me we're going to sit here and say, nah, because he's RB3, he can only get 2 carries, or you're going to say, we're going to put this guy in the game and see what he can do, because he's obviously a difference maker, change of pace to our one change of pace guy, but he's one of those guys you get out there on defense, you say, okay, he's hiding behind the offensive line, he's hard to see, we can run screens with him, we can run gadget plays with him. Oh, yeah, and he can run in between the tackles. Yeah. They put him down there to score on the 4-yard line.
Yeah.
And he makes a move. He does it, almost textbook the run that he had. It was a great run. But, Newey, let me just say this. As far as the offensive coordinator now, Mike McCarthy, and his mind when you're putting together a Deuce package. And I think what you're alluding to is a RB3. You keep a guy like that just for 4 or 5 plays. What else is he going to do? But if you have a package like that, what would that package entail for a guy like
some
this?
of the screen plays they ran out there were pretty cool. And McCarthy Thomas like he's like they're trying to find him. So there'll be packages in there for him. I think obviously Tony Pollard's 1. I think Deuce right now is 3. At 2, you're looking for Malik Davis, Rico Dowdle, Ronald Jones, who's going to miss 2 games because of a suspension, and then he's missing camp right now. And my man holds on to the ball, goes into the end zone.
It was a nice play.
Yeah, he showed some explosiveness after he caught the ball.
So I think they're going to have a tough choice, basically between Rico Dowdle and Malik Davis at this point in time. And so I think there's going to be some guys cut that they bring back. Take, for instance, a Simi Fehoko, who can be cut. Let's say it's between Davis or Dowdle, one of those guys, because they know the system. Other team systems they won't necessarily know. I could see them bringing those guys back because this is what they've done in the past. If Will Greer happens to not make the football team, I could see Will Greer being a guy that doesn't get picked up by anyone because they say maybe he doesn't know enough of our system, and we have who we want to be our number 3 guy, and the Cowboys can bring him back. This practice squad is going to be a very interesting place, and they're going to have to make those decisions. That's why the Seattle game is so big, because who plays well again that you start to say, and you guys know this, we can't hide him.
Oh yeah, you see it.
Right, we can't let him get out there. So that's the interesting thing with some of these positions where you're like, well, we like this guy, you like that guy. Who is it you can cut and you say we can get him back? Like Cooper Rush last year. Cooper Rush will not be cut again. They're going to keep him. But that's what they did last year. Who can we let go? And maybe another team doesn't want it because they're like, man, he's not going to really know our system, our package. But that's why a Deuce Vaughn is going to make this team, and a Turpin's going to make this team. Because if you put those 2 out there, you're right, you're not getting them back.
Are we all in agreement that Deuce Vaughn's stock is?
I'll give you that.
Is shooting through the roof right now.
He's off all Oxnard. He's off all Oxnard. He has made the team.
Yeah,
and you are saying that Turpin is for sure on this team because he made the Pro Bowl last year.
He made the Pro Bowl.
Even with the fumbling issues. I mean, guy had a little fumbleitis there a little bit.
Made the Pro Bowl.
He did.
Fossil has juice. Okay, listen, Fossil's got juice. But right now, if you don't have Turpin there, who's doing it?
They kicked the ball. If they kicked the ball to Deuce, because the punter fumbled the snap, so it was like one of those rugby kicks. He didn't really get an opportunity to get out there and show what he can do. But those are the type of players where you say, okay, let's get him back there on punt return and see if he has that same type of juice when you get him the ball in his hands then. Can he secure the ball? One, because remember Cole Beasley used to get put back there because he could just secure the ball.
Yeah, he could catch.
So, but also with Turpin, there was a little friendly fire there that led to the fumble. So
it's okay.
So, but
On to the round.
okay, but I put things. Turpin's on this football.
You sure?
Team.
Okay.
For me, Turpin's on this football team, and one of the things that we got to talk to him at camp out a little bit was, I think it was 22 some odd football games or whatnot that he had played between Cowboys, the preseason and the NFL season going off the USFL season. He was tired.
Yeah.
So he's had an off season. I'm looking forward for the bounce back against Seattle. I do, but to me, Turpin and Vaughn, to me, these are not question marks. For some media members, as we're talking about this team, they're like, man, I don't know if we keep both of them. Like, yeah, you're keeping them both. Because if you put either one of them out there, they're gone.
I'm just telling you, you put Deuce Vaughn out there to return kicks or return punts, and they let him get the ball in his hands, and he shows that he could do something, then I think you should be worried about Turpin.
One thing about it is when I saw Deuce Vaughn, he is instant energy for your offense. He just provided a spark immediately, just the way he runs. I mean, elusive. He had 2 guys running to each other. I don't know if you saw that.
That was clean.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, tell me, I'm sure Deuce Vaughn's heard this whole life. His low center of gravity makes it very hard for guys to be able to tackle him. But I just think that one thing about him is what the Cowboys offense has been needing, especially just an instant energy guy. And he gives that immediately to this offense. But switching gears here and going back over to the other side, another position that, and I think we got some players over there, is in the linebacker room. And we talked about this defense being elite and them taking the next step. And we knew that the linebackers would have to come front and center to represent this dominance on defense. Man, we've got some players over there, and I start with DeMarvion Overshawn.
the young man and give Will McClay and the scouting department credit when they have drafted a young man who fits what they want. So many times people want to draft players based on, whatever. But who fits, the size and measurables? Who fits what it is you do? This young man, he's the right culture. He's got the right attitude. Texas native, Cowboy fan, wants to be here, wants to play the special teams, knows his role. So you can't get enough young guys like that. So he's going to make this football team. Once again, who do you look at that you say may not make it? Right now, the linebacking core, based off this game, Jabril Cox is a guy who I could see not making the 53, but they say, we want you on the practice squad. And unless he makes some plays, because I go back to this, if you put a guy out there, who's going to take him? Right now, Jabril hasn't got enough tape right now that's going to say to somebody, we need him. And Seattle's big. I tell you, right now, Seattle's big for a couple guys where you just say, okay, I got to show them something because you only have one more game after that. But I don't anticipate Mike playing a lot of starters, so I think there's going to be an opportunity for some other guys to show their wares against some first-team guys if Pete Carroll decides that this game is going to be a dress rehearsal for him in Seattle. And so that's going to be pretty key if you can see some of these backup players play against Seattle's ones. And by the way, I think Seattle's going to be an even better football team than they were last year. I thought they came on strong at the end.
What you think about 35? 35 he played well. You can see that they know what they're doing, that they're being coached right? Because you can see them reading guard pulls. You can see them making sure they were setting the edge. Then you can see the speed to chase guys down and make sure they make the tackles. I say they. I'm sorry, I'm going to get, because I know I'm going to get to my guy later. But no, Overshown, he looked great, all right? And like I said, it's only 1 week. But I think that Jacksonville still has some talent out there. And then I know at the beginning of the game, their starters win.
Yeah, right? They won.
So he looked good. I think him, Leighton Vander Esch, and Damone Clark, I think that is a linebacking crew
Solid
to
trio.
be reckoned with there, right? Because they're not just one-trick ponies, right? They can run, they can hit, and you can see them get in coverage. Those are the type of tall, lean guys that we have at the linebacker position, and I think that's going to bode well for
It translated. Those are things that translated from Oxnard. And we keep talking about the all Oxnard guys. It translated for Overshown.
Church, for you being a former safety, we've talked about Jerron Kearse, and when you see Overshown, the guy that's a tweener that can play that in Dan Quinn's system, what is your mind state when you see a guy that's not just a hybrid guy? He's a linebacker, but he started out in the safety in college, and he can basically do it all, as you see on the preseason game.
Well, the more you can do, the better. I mean, that's what coaches always say. And this guy, he's versatile. Like you said, he can play that safety position. He can be in the box and be that linebacker, sideline to sideline. We know he has the speed. We know he has the coverage ability. But to me, what stood out, because I didn't know if he had enough bricks in his pocket. Like, I didn't know if he had enough weight to play at that linebacker position and kind of deal with those big offensive linemen down there. But what stood out to me, I think it was either a 3rd and 1 or maybe it was a 4th and 1 early in that game against the starters. And they went right downhill at Overshown, and it was him and the running back right in the hole. Boom! Stood his ground right there, pushed him back at the point of attack. So that shows that he can go in there and he can battle amongst the giants in there as well as do all the stuff sideline to sideline. So like Daddy said, that trio of linebackers is going to be extremely impressive, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
Now, Nui, I want to go to Damone Clark because he's a guy that came in last season with the neck injury. They were not really expecting a lot from him. Got a lot of playing time out of him last season, but especially in camp and in the preseason, man, you see why Dan Quinn was high on this guy with just his raw athletic ability.
I go back to Micah Parsons, who said, I'm challenging guys to come meet the challenge. That linebacker room, you still have Parsons in it. So here's Parsons, and that thing has gone down. And it's just kind of rolling down. You got Leighton Vander Esch, who's talking Super Bowl, and he's looking good out here. So I think these guys are you don't want to be the one that's
making plays.
Right, not making plays, because you don't want to be the one that gets talked about. You don't want to, I don't think you want to incur the wrath of Michael Parsons, who can be a little bit bully, at times about what he's expecting here. So I think they've got a standard. And you see everybody trying to meet that standard in that room. And give credit to Coach Scott McCurley, okay? Give him some credit here about what we're seeing so far. That I can't say it enough. It translated, which was my biggest concern. I'm seeing all this stuff here. Okay, will we see it? At AT&T Stadium, so far we've seen it. I love the fact that they've got one more week in California. Now go take what you have for the guys who check the boxes that were playing this, go trending up. Can you do it again? And for the guys who may have trended down, can you fix it? I think this is another key week here for backup players, and that's what Cowboy fans have to really get into. They know pretty much the guys they want to get out. Parsons is going to be fine. Lamb is going to be fine. Can these other guys who at some point in this season are going to have to help this football team, can they get them out there, get them going? And I think that's where Mike McCarthy hasn't gotten enough credit, Heckma, for just his ability to develop these young players. And we're seeing dudes who come in here and they're getting it done, which is, to me, that's exciting. That's exciting because in the salary cap world, knowing you're going to have to pay some folks around here. It's about to be what, what's it? Was it Pareto's or 80? It was 80-20. It's about to be 95-5 payroll around here.
And this is an easy subject for you, LSU linebacker. So go ahead.
Listen. He started, against the starters.
It was.
And he was a standout guy. You look at the first 8 plays of the game, I think he made tackles on 4 or 5 of them and was around the ball on the rest of them. All right? I think what happens is some people may have forgotten that Damone Clark was the guy at LSU. He was the guy. So we talk about like Micah Parsons and saying live up to the standard. The standard for Damone Clark has always been high, right? And then he comes in last year where he probably expected to play a little bit more and do a little better. And now he's like, I got my full year. I'm going to show these dudes what I can do. Like, I should be starting. And you could tell that, like, that was his mindset when he was out there in the game. The dude was all over the place. And this is ETN he was tackling. Yeah. This is
good football
Trevor
player.
Lawrence.
Real good.
Like, he was out there. He was out there balling. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Make sure everybody was lined up in the right spot. He was doing everything that he needed to do, and it was exciting to see because I say this. I met him at Brady James' house, and he was telling me, "Hey, man," I was like, "So what's different about here and LSU?" He was like, "Well, LSU." It's college. It was the thing. We could do whatever we want to. That's fine. We were going to go out there. We're still going to be able to play to our best. I've gotten here and I've stopped drinking. I've stopped doing all the extra stuff. I'm just focused on football. Yeah. And then you see him go out there and the words are matching what he's doing. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, you're right. The man that he was at LSU, because I'm saying if you watched an old LSU tape when he was there, he was the guy on defense.
And it has to be this way as they get ready to pay Mike Parsons.
Got to.
You've got to get these younger players to come in here and get them under contract at a nice low price for a few years, because this Parsons is going to cost.
Oh yeah,
He's gonna be the highest paid.
He's going to cost.
Back up the Brinks truck.
This is quarterback. He's going to get quarterback money.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not giving no discount.
Yeah. BC, when you looked at the starting lineup on defense for the Dallas Cowboys, you had Dante Fowler. You had Sam Williams.
Out there.
I mean, you had guys on our quote-unquote non-starters going out there that are legitimate first team guys that are logging these reps, and that ought to tell you how deep that linebacker room is. But the job that they did on Saturday, what did you think about Fowler and Williams?
No, I think they played outstanding, and I feel like Williams I think he's going to just continue to get better and better. He already has the size. He already has the build and athletic ability to be a dominant edge rusher out here. I think he'll just continue to get better and better as he follows, like a Micah Parsons or a D-Law out there. And like you said, man, the second team for this defense right now could be a starting defense for any other team in the National Football League. I mean, when you got Dante Fowler, who has a career year sack when he had 13 sacks in 1 year, you got Sam Williams coming off the edge. Just imagine what you can do at that linebacker position. When you got your dime package, you can have just Damone Clark, Overshawn right there. I mean, it's going to be outstanding. I'm extremely excited to what this defense can bring to the table.
We're going to take our first break, but when we come back, we're going to talk about the quarterbacks because it's a lot of pressure being added in that quarterback room. It's the Players Lounge. We'll be right back.
Want to use the Cowboys locker room's favorite products? Check out the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. Right now, you can get the Jack Black Playmaker, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The Playmaker includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word Cowboys. The Jack Black Playmaker, $10, free shipping.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
Hi, I'm Danny McCray, Dallas Cowboys alumni player here with Smoothie King. And Smoothie King wants to ask you, what's that sound? That's the sound of you and everyone else absolutely loving new smoothie bowls from Smoothie King. And woo, me too. These smoothie bowls start with acai and pitaya and are handcrafted with fresh toppings like sliced bananas, sweet berries, crunchy Purely Elizabeth granola, and a savory peanut butter drizzle. New smoothie bowls, only at Smoothie King, the official smoothie of the Dallas Cowboys.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Back to the Players Lounge.
Come watch the Dallas Cowboys practice at the Star in Frisco during training camp presented by American Airlines. Free open practices will take place at the Ford Center, starting with Cowboy Night on August 22nd and run through the 24th. For more information, visit DallasCowboys.com/training camp. Back in action here on the Players Lounge. Newey Scruggs is back in the building. Barry Church is in the building. And Danny McCray is also in the building. We got the whole Players Lounge in here today. Nobody's on live view. Everybody is officially in the building. But we're going to talk about the quarterback position because obviously we're watching closely Cooper Rush, Will Grier. Cooper Rush was 10 for 12, all right? And
breaking news. Breaking news.
Hold on, throw that on there, heck, man. Go ahead.
Breaking news.
Hey, breaking news. Hey, we were about to go into this, and we're going to talk about leverage and all that. They saw enough.
What happened?
I got it. The Cowboys All-Pro guard, Zach Martin, reaches agreement, reworked his deal, is now worth up to $18 million. So he got his money, boss.
Oh, you knew it had to happen.
Hey, he got his money, boss. And you know what? You were talking about that at the break. You were asking that question about the offensive line. And I think what happened, Zach Martin's absence and everybody seeing what was going on at the right guard position, it was like enough is enough. Let's stop playing with this and let's get Zach back in the building.
That's not crazy, though.
So when you say reworked,
it's not crazy.
But 18 mil is not the 20. This is doable. Okay, doable.
He was at 13 and a half.
Okay.
I mean, another raise.
Yeah, so we scheduled to be at 13, 14. So now it's an additional 8.5 plus million. So now you're gonna get paid north of 18 for the next 2 years. Yeah, but look, definitely the line play on.
No, let me try to gloss it over.
I'm gonna say he better come in with a bag of everybody. Hey, way to go, guys! Thanks, guys for Saturday. I appreciate you. Thank you. Because I'm sure somebody went up there, Schottenheimer, the play caller. Hey,
So what you're saying is all that talk.
Sure no.
All that chirp. All that chirp going on.
All that posturing. Ain't about to do it.
Got Newey out of camp talking about leverage. Leverage.
But we're just going to move on,
That's what he said.
Future value versus current value.
That's what he told me.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to erase that phone call me and you had this.
Hey, this one's real simple. You know what happened? Game happened. The game happened, and it was, about that. Somebody went up there to close the door. About that leverage. Well,
So what does he want?
We wanted to let the young guys. Okay, you know what, boss? We showed you, boss. We let the young guys play. You saw, boss. This is as good as it's gonna get. And this is the beauty of Jacques Taylor. Great Cowboy writer always said, sports is fluid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sports is fluid. And you know what? Saturday made it real fluid. So all of a sudden, whatever they were thinking, lever, we here, we're like,
So I guess we really don't have to talk about how the O-line played on Saturday.
Josh Ball? Josh Ball in trouble.
We don't have to have that conversation no more.
Josh Ball 75 may not make it.
Yeah, I was gonna look.
So how do you keep Deuce and Turp? 75.
75.
Take a spot away from
75. 75 might be on these streets.
But as much as you credit this coaching staff for developing players, and they've given this guy a lot of leeway, Josh Ball, to make the squad with injuries.
Sure.
Well, let's go. But it's specifically number 75, moving him from tackle back inside the guard. It just never has developed for him as a player. And I'm telling y'all, Saturday when I was watching, I'm like, whoa. Look, I know this guy is getting reps, and he's probably getting better through the reps that he's getting. But that ain't it, brother. I'm sorry.
Don't have it.
And so somebody took the cover. Somebody took the cover off the button. All right, it's gonna smash that.
We've seen enough.
Got Zach Martin paid. Zach better bring him a good old goodie bag. Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
You watch that game and you know what you could be, and you know what could hold you back, and then you make that phone call.
Well, look, we know this. When the draft is like, everybody don't make it. Everybody doesn't make it, right?
Guys ain't got it.
Everybody doesn't make it. Everyone deserves an opportunity to fail.
Yeah,
Deserves an opportunity to fail. He may still make it, but right now, and maybe there was even a trade or whatnot, but right now, clearly, look, balls. Look,
who traded the ball?
We've seen enough people roll out of here who've gone from the Cowboys who've gone on and played other places. We have seen.
Gone on, got paid.
Remember Big Corey? Couldn't find the field here. Ended up going.
Taco just got signed.
And was up there starting for the Colts. So we have seen guys leave here and go places, and even if they're just backup players, we've seen them be able to go. And so starting is one thing, but can he be on somebody's squad in the NFL as a backup player? Yes.
Look, the offensive line left a lot to be desired. I mean, there was some things that was happening that obviously they that's why Zach Martin.
There you go. Good for him.
They make those adjustments. What we're going to do, we're going to blow through this second break and go all the way through. But I want to talk to you because I know your favorite subject, Nui, is Jalen Tolbert. JT Money did his thing, made some plays, and you can see the confidence, though. You can see the confidence in a player that his first year, his confidence was zero.
We talked about this on the show, just a guy who could improve. Who could, and he's done everything you need to do. He's been here. He's gotten the coaches, McCarthy, Schottenheimer. You've gone and been around Dak. He's done his part. As much as we saw Terrence Steele improve from that first year, because he had a tough first year. He improved in the second year. So right now, Jalen Tolbert's on track to do that. My other guy, not so much.
Your other guy, Simi?
Simi's not.
Who's your other guy?
The Boss Man Fat.
Oh,
Boss Man Fat. Boss Man Fat, bro. I don't know. But I'm just saying, guys, two guys where I'm like, maybe we could see, I was looking like, what can you do this year with Austin? I was looking at Ball. Could he get better? I was looking at Tolbert. Could he get better? I was looking at Kelvin Jones. Could he get better? Right now, only one of them's got better.
Can I ask you something? Okay, going into that game on Saturday, your expectation for Boss Man Fat, Kelvin Joseph was what? Because what you just said was, I was looking at him saying, okay, this could probably be a guy. Maybe you
got to change.
Going into the game on Saturday, what was your expectation of?
I was down when I left Oxnard. I just didn't have much.
But he did have a PBU, right? Kelvin Joseph had a PBU in the game.
I said
the best thing he could do is hang out with C.J. Goodwin and just try to have that role. That's the best thing.
So once again, you start talking about Turpin Vaughn. You got a better shot of letting Kelvin Joseph go and bringing him back to your roster. Yeah. So to me, there's going to be guys like that.
Yeah,
it's going to be guys like that. You're not letting two guys go who are going to get snatched up. You're going to be looking at guys like a Simi, like a Kelvin Joseph, like a Josh Ball that you can put them out there and you can go bring them back in because they've got warts. That maybe somebody else says, that's too many warts for me, or I didn't see enough on tape that I want. But there's just been some things that some of these guys, like Tolbert, what you saw at Oxnard, it translated.
It did.
It translated. And that's a really good thing because, to me, right now, he's your number 4, hands down.
Yeah.
Right now, he's the 4. And so if he's the 4, that's where a guy like Simi in trouble, man, because Turpin's going to be in there.
Yeah.
So that's 5.
That is. That's it.
Brooks, while Brooks didn't have a game we thought, the way it didn't translate from camp, but if Brooks brings them something and he's playing special teams.
That may be his way on. But for you, two guys that went undrafted that had to completely break your back to get on to the active roster. And I'm sure when you're watching preseason games, you're looking for that underdog. You're looking for you in a player, basically. Was there anyone that everybody's kind of flew under the radar that you said, you know what, this guy has a legitimate chance with all of these talented players on this roster to possibly make the roster?
Yeah, you know, let's go back to. Can I go back to Kelvin Joseph?
Oh,
just for a
absolutely,
second? I'm
absolutely.
gonna go back to Kelvin Joseph just for a second because I want to continue to make sure I emphasize that I think Kelvin Joseph can play football in the National Football League. I think trying to make him be the player that he was in college at the cornerback position is going to take a lot longer than they have time to allow him to try to stay on the roster for. I really think as I was watching him in the game, I didn't even watch him at cornerback. I just watched him play gunner, and I wanted to watch him run down on any other special team that he was on. I saw him get double-teamed. Double-teamed. I saw him continue to fight through and make sure he was continuing to be a difference maker on special teams. And I think that for him, and this is no shot at his ability to play cornerback, for him right now, I think the most important thing for him is he needs to go in there and say, hey, coach, I want to be the best I can be on special teams. If that means that y'all need to do whatever y'all got to do to make sure that I can be more focused and y'all can get more reps of me on special teams, then that's what I want to do. I think that is the best way for you to be on the roster, because if you keep trying what you tried in Jacksonville, right, it's like, okay, well, we're going to play him at cornerback, and then we'll see if we lose some at special teams, and then you lose at both. Now you have a real issue.
Yeah, that ain't
and I say that because I went through that exact thing. I was starting safety. Jody had me on all special teams, and we was out there playing all of them. And finally, they were like, "Hey, you go back to special teams." So,
Could it be a situation where it's C.J. Goodwin, Kelvin Joseph as a choice that they make for the 53?
Could be.
I don't see why you wouldn't pick CJ.
Yeah, I
He's
mean, they're
the
both
leader in your room.
playmakers. Yeah, and
but
CJ, yeah.
Your locker room guy, though.
Yeah,
they
he
both
is.
bring the
That's-
same. Your locker room guy is CJ.
Yeah.
You would have the most impact of the locker room by him leaving than you would Kelvin Joseph, I believe.
And the intriguing thing about Kelvin Joseph is just where he was drafted. You know,
Yeah,
I
second
think
rounder, yeah.
if it didn't have anything to do with where he was drafted, I think you're not even thinking about this and having a conversation on, especially with guys like Eric Scott Jr., who that are obviously coming around and doing some really good things. But and I was asking y'all that question about guys that are going under the radar, guys like John Stevens, the tight end that you see, that
The football player.
Yeah.
you know, guys like Isaiah Land, the defensive end that are making plays, may not be someone that you're thinking about to say that's going to make this squad, but you see some of those guys actually making plays and doing some pretty good work.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be tough for the underdogs on the defensive side of the football. I mean, when you talk about depth everywhere, there's only so many spots you can have on a team. So it's just going to be extremely hard for those guys to scratch the surface and get in there. I mean, you look how deep we are on the defensive line. The linebacker room now that we see with Overshawn coming in there. The secondary, I mean, it's going to be extremely hard to make this football team, especially from a guy that's, doesn't have the pedigree and just kind of showing up. It's going to be tough to crack this team as an undrafted guy.
I think in our situation, you have to go back and remember, as Church always says, the depth at the position when we got here was really light. Okay, they had drafted Kwasi Owusu-Ansah in the fourth. It was me and Church. Kwasi was hurt coming into rookie minicamp and all that. Mike Hamlin got hurt. Pat Watkins was injured during like we had the dominoes fall in our favor, all the way through for us to get on the roster. And I don't think you don't see that now.
Nah, it's too deep. They too deep right now. Deep and young. They too deep and young right now.
Yeah, and obviously, look, we still have 2 preseason games left, and all of these count. Anything that you're looking for here in these last 2 preseason games?
The kicker, Aubrey.
Oh,
It makes kicks, man.
Yeah.
You can't miss the extras. Okay, you cannot miss the extra points. So, to me, that's something you have to look at here. The NFL, too many games are coming down to field goals here, and at a certain point in time, they've also got to figure out what is his range. Okay, Maher was a guy that you could send out there for a 50-yard field goal. So that's the next thing for this kid is, okay, can you make extra points, and can we find out what is your range before they go out and make some decision on trying to bring in a veteran?
99 problems and kicker is still one of them.
God.
I can't believe
Hard
that we are still going through this with the kicker. Vince Caino was the guy that we had in OTAs. He doesn't make it through training camp, and here we are, man, still talking about the kicking position. Well, man, we got a hard 2:30 out on this, and so look, we'll be back here on the Players Lounge on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Nui Scruggs is back in the building. Danny McCray is back in the building. The man over there whose pockets got the mumps is in the building. BC is in the building. Throw the cap, man. Let the people know, man. Hey, we'll finish this thing like we ended this thing. Throw the cap, baby. This has been the Players Lounge. We'll see you Wednesday.
Rock bottom.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?